Hey everybody. Alright, I wanted to bring you something today. I've been doing a lot of these remakes and reboots and everything, and I found one in particular right now. Uh, if you ever watched the movie Prometheus, you know it is an outstandingly good movie. It's probably one of the best underrated, under-reviewed, even though there's millions of reviews, about Prometheus being probably the closest thing to a real story we're going to get on the civilization that made us. Now, before you get into the Bible stuff and this and that, I know for a fact that we are not from this planet. I apologize for dropping the ball, those of you who are one thing or another. I know this is a gamer's den and not a religious channel or anything else, but hear me out. This is so because, for the most part, we can't survive in nature, folks. Nearly every major plant that animals can eat will kill a person. There is no hesitation. Nearly all animals can kill a person. Hands down, no questions asked. We can survive maybe up to 2-3 weeks on our own in the wilderness. Animals can thrive for a lifetime. Maybe 6 months, maybe 3 years, but it's still a lifetime to them. And with the Prometheus review, what I'm going to basically say is that Ridley Scott rather, has started Prometheus 2. And the reason I go into the banter a little bit is because I've been told by others that this is a little dry and that I don't do any major conversation pieces with my audience. So I'm going to try to give a little bit of conversation a little bit before I introduce the piece and before I go into anything major. Prometheus 2 reportedly started in January, or starting in January. In case you don't know, that's the alien that was born via in Prometheus 1. Ridley Scott has put his Prometheus 2 back on track, and it is actually a sequel to his... I'm sorry, Prometheus 1 and Prometheus 2 is actually a prequel to Alien. Now, how they're going to wrap it up, I don't know, and I'm going to love the idea, and I've heard rumors, folks. Okay, I've heard rumors that, and I'm sorry to drop the ball on this one, but when David and, I forget her name, get to the engineer's home world, they're going to discover one thing. There's several races. They're going to discover that, well, we know they got to pretty much tie in all the major species inside the Alien trilogy or the Alien universe. And so the engineers are the newest form, right? Okay, cool. So they've already introduced the Xenomorphs, and then we've been introduced to the engineers. Somebody said that they're going to be introducing into it also the Predators. I don't know whether or not this is true, but I've heard rumors that they are going to introduce the Predators into the Prometheus 2 movie. I don't know to what extent, if it's going to be a reference, if it's going to be more than that, I have no idea. This is what I'm being told. This is what I'm finding online. Basically, they want to bring all the universes together. And I forget the lady who survived at the end of Prometheus 1. Unfortunately, it was not Charlize Theron, and I am unfortunately a little bit saddened by that. And I'm really hoping that David will be even a more kick-ass person in Prometheus 2, because to me it kind of ended suddenly. To me, see, this is where I'm coming from, folks. You can be the most war-torn race in the world, But if you're woken up by figures that aren't like you and you know what they are and everything, you're not just going to start killing them. You're going to sit there and you're going to try to work something out, find out what they want and everything else. And I know the engineer kind of went on a tantrum and started killing people early. You have the extended clips which say they explained a few things and then he killed him. And then some of the other ones that said he let him go, this and that, and depending on what you know and see. This to me is a big film, folks. This to me is kind of like the overview of the God civilization, and this kind of hits home for me a little bit. Not for any major reason, but this was to me an inspirational film. If you know, the same ship they used in Prometheus, that little U-shape or horseshoe shape, was actually supposed to be a race that appeared in the Stargate franchise. I forget what they called them, but it was all the way at the end of the Stargate franchise when they introduced those guys. And Earth and the Gould and several other people actually defeated that race finally. I'm not thinking of the Gould, I'm thinking of the whatever they called the Greys. They finally defeated that race, but they ended up having to die or something. Anyways, so that's kind of where I'm getting sidetracked. But Prometheus 2 is supposed to be amazing. They're supposed to go to the home world of this engineer planet. And then basically she's supposed to find out why Earth was made and this and that. And I think David gave a good representation of what they're going to find out. When David talked with that one guy that was shooting pool, and David had asked, you know, what would you do? Or, no, he basically said, why do you think your people made me? And David is the android, cyborg, whatever you want to call it. Well, actually, he's an all-robot, so he'd be an android. And the guy said, I don't know, because we could. And he says, what do you think would be the response if your people found out the exact same thing? You were made because we could. And he says, I don't know, that's mind-blowing. And he goes, it is. And then that's when David slipped him that, I still don't know what it is. If he slipped him the black juice that grows everything, or if he actually slipped him something that was originally going to turn him into an engineer. I don't really know. Because he went inside the goo to the bag that looked like an IV bag floating, and he broke off that piece that had the stuff inside it. So I don't know. But anyways, this is a review on Prometheus 2. Thanks, guys.